Hello everyone, agus Kid Míle Fáilte. This is the next video in our current series on the Magdalene Institutions in Ireland in the 20th century. And we all know that terrible things happened in those institutions. And we all know that the pain does not just end when that person leaves the institution. It goes on for life, down through society, outwards and to the next generation. And we're getting very, very, very sad stories of what happened in these institutions. And I'm here today in Castledermot with Helen Culpin. And Helen has been through the system, and Helen has got a very, very sad life story to tell us. So Helen, thank you for agreeing to be interviewed with us.
Yes, thank you.
And we want to get your story out there to
Definitely.
people. And you're 90 years of age, Helen.
Yes.
And Helen, can I start with the very early part of your life? You're a Kildare woman. You were born in Castledermot here.
Yes.
You're a Kildare woman.
Yes.
Okay. And you were the 8th of 15 children.
Yeah, nine girls and 6 boys.
And 6 boys. Your poor mother.
My poor mother.
Yeah.
I miss
And
her
those
so.
were very poor times too, weren't they?
Poor, terrible times.
Did she remember your names all the time, or did she forget? Or did you
she
remember
didn't.
each other's names? There were so many of you.
We didn't. No way would you forget, no.
You didn't forget, no.
No.
And at mealtime,
Oh,
you couldn't all sit around the one table. You all had to be different times.
Stand up
hadn't you?
around the table. You know, you were lucky to have a bit of food to eat.
Wasn't
But
that
you-
bad?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, just had enough for one meal, and the next meal, well, hopeful that we'll have to find you someone and give it to us. At 12 o'clock in the night time, my poor mother used to go out to the farmer's field with a bucket of potatoes and a head of cabbage for our dinner for the following day. And when we went to school, we had no bags, no books. Well, we had no education in school. No, nothing. We had no books to read or no nothing. And one day I went I had no jot or pencil. And I went up and I asked the head teacher, and she pulled the pencil out of the cupboard and snapped it in two and gave me half of it and put the other back. I wasn't good enough for a full pencil. They were no good. Don't bother with them. They're no good. That was the attitude of the people. My poor brothers, no. They used to stand there looking at the work, there was no work around Castledermot then. And when there was 3 of them, was my eldest, Christy and Paddy, and they used to stand up by Corpse's corner, by the other corner, when the farmers would come around picking them up in a lorry to take them to work for them. And he'd get out of his lorry and he'd pick you, and leave my brothers alone, wouldn't pick them.
Helen, at the end of the war, World War II, your father left
Yes.
in 1944 to go to England, and he didn't come back. And Helen, when your father left you all and went to England, your mother was left with 15 children. Poverty?
No, she was left with 11.
11.
Because my other sisters, the eldest ones, had gone out to work.
Had gone out to work.
But there was 11 of us left.
Right.
We went off to England and left my mother with 11 children.
And very, very poor times and pregnant, yes.
We had no money, no nothing, nobody.
And there was a farmer near you,
Yes.
a very wealthy farmer,
Yeah,
cattle and land,
Yeah.
60 years of age,
yeah,
and he offered your mother milk
Yeah.
for you all. And your mother sent you at 10 years
I
of
was
age,
the oldest.
you were the oldest then, at 10 years of age up to get the milk. Thinking this was free milk,
Yes,
but it wasn't free milk, Helen, was it? What happened?
no way.
What did that farmer do to you?
Yes, raped me at 10 years of age. And when I used to go up afterwards looking after, he'd lift me up on the shelf to have sex with me, in the cow shed. So,
And you didn't know what was going on, Helen? You hadn't a clue what was going on here?
truth, I didn't have a clue. I thought it was something that men done for women. Not the gospel truth. I think how stupid. And
So
then we
you
had no
weren't
education in school. We had nothing. There's nothing, no education from anybody. You'd never hear any doctor telling you about anything because we didn't have the priest. Well, the laws was different, weren't they? In the 50s, there was nothing.
The fault was totally and completely his.
Yes, dirty old get.
You were sent up regularly for the milk, were you,
yes,
Helen?
every day? Every day, yes, yes.
So from 10 years of age until when did
And
that
I
rate go on?
school. Till I left school, 14.
14. So
Till I
from
left
10 to
school.
14, you were raped every day by that farmer.
Yes,
So he wasn't giving free milk.
No, no way, no way. For 4 years. And I was in school then, and I must have been, and now I think after, God, I must have been awful smelly, not, like, you know, with this. I couldn't understand why a man would do that to you. I thought it was something that women, I don't know.
And Helen, at 17 years of age, you were raped again by him. And
17.
17, you became pregnant.
Yes.
How did you tell your mother, or did you tell your mother?
I didn't tell my mother. My sister told my mother. Because she could guess that there was something wrong.
And when your mother did find out, how did she react to you?
She took me straight to the doctors. He said, go down to the police. Police, nothing they could do. Didn't want to know. Go over to church. And over to church, that old priest, oh dear God.
Get her out of here.
Outset my poor mother. Get her out of the town. Get her out of the town. Get her out from here. Give her that note. That hospital, the name of the hospital. How I found it, I don't know.
You were on your own in Dublin, yes.
Yes, I had no money. I don't know how I got up to that hospital.
And Helen, where was your son born? Can you tell us that?
In Patrick's.
Navan Road.
Navan Road.
Right. How did you get there from Castledermot? Did the priest arrange for that?
For what now?
For you to get from Castledermot to Dublin?
No, he didn't arrange it. He told me to go. I had to get on a bus myself and travel up to Dublin. And
all on your own?
All on my own. I didn't know money. Well, I had nothing.
So when you got to Dublin, where was the first place you went?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Remember how I got up to the hostel. I don't know.
So that was the Regina Cayley Hospital?
Yes.
A hostel, yes. Connected to the St. Patrick's in Navan Road?
Yes.
And your baby was actually born in Navan Road?
Yes.
And almost just before he was born, you had to walk from St. James's Hospital? From where? From the hostel?
No, from the hostel to St. James's Hospital.
Right.
And then when I went up to St. James's Hospital, I was met by the nun and the nurse, and I was put into a black van and taken over to the mother and baby home.
And that's where your son was born?
That's where he was born.
Okay, so your son was born, and you had no way of supporting him, and you had no choice, Helen, but to give him up. You thought you were doing the best by giving up, and you expected that he would be adopted by good, kind parents, and he had a wonderful life.
Yes.
But he did not get adopted. He was not put up for adoption. No. He ended up in St. Joseph's Industrial School in Tralee, where he was raped and abused by the Christian brothers there, like all the other children with him. Okay, you were transferred to Donnybrook Laundry. Yes. And you spent 8 months there?
I spent more than 8 months.
More than 8?
I think it was about over 12 months.
12 months, right, okay. You were scrubbing floors, and windows, and folding laundry. Have you any memories? What else? Can you tell us about your time in Donnybrook Laundry?
When I had that bash on my forehead, can you see it?
Okay. How did you get that bash, Helen?
Two girls fighting through a mug at the cockney pipe there. Okay. Oh, nothing I could do, just shove a bit of rag on the Then I got my hand in the machine.
In the calendar?
No, it was a roller.
In the press, the roller, yeah, okay. Yeah. Burnt, badly burnt?
Oh, it was a scar. And
I suppose you got no sympathy, Helen, when you went to get treatment for it. You got no sympathy, no?
Well, that was your work. There was nothing, no. Putting a few bandages, that was it.
Were you physically abused in Donnybrook?
No.
Beatings?
No. I was abuse, shouting and calling your names. But they didn't lay a hand on me. No, I would tell a lie. They didn't lay a hand on me.
And were you involved in making rosary beads and scapulars? Were you doing that
I
job?
did, a couple of days you get at that, do that some days.
And they were sold in different places in Rome and Lourdes and places like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And were you doing iron sweaters? Did you make iron sweaters in there? No, just the rosary beads and the scapulars?
Yes.
Okay. Helen, I don't know what to say to you because you've had but you have had happy times, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
And you had a happy marriage.
Happy marriage, yes. Had a good husband, yes, he was.
And he was disappointed too because there were no children there.
Well, he was disappointed, and I was, I thought it was him, something wrong with him, and then he probably had something wrong with her. We never discussed it, I didn't know. Until 1983, until I had that scan, whatever they call it.
The smear test.
Smear test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was because of the way they had botched up your insides that you were not able to
have children. And now,
and you just told us that this seemed to be very common practice of theirs, didn't it?
And now
to make sure there are no more bastards being born.
Come up with there. I get dreadful
pain.
Yes. Still get that terrible pain. Not always, just now and again. Just something to remind you. Okay, that's true.
Helen, do you feel bitter and resentful?
No. I'm hurt. I'm very, very
hurt.
And that's because
that's very deep hurt.
Yeah. And my son, he got the wrong end of the stick, see, not that.
Have you grandchildren from?
Yes.
And they don't want to know you either?
Well, I don't think they would know.
You don't?
No.
You don't know what the story is there?
Yeah.
Helen, yourself and your son were both victims of the system in different ways. But he maybe does not understand that you were the victim. He thinks that you made him the victim.
Yes.
But you didn't. It wasn't your doing.
Yes.
The same people who made him the victim also made you a victim. And Helen, I believe you are a Michael English fan?
I do like Michael. He's fantastic here. Wonderful music. Gorgeous music he is. Oh, yes.
And no doubt you were a dancer in your time, were you?
Well, I wouldn't say I was a dancer.
When you went dancing?
It was just for enjoyment, yes. Annie and I, my friend.
The ballroom of romance?
No, none of that. No.
You had enough of that?
None of that, yeah.
Yeah, you remember those days. I'm sure the men all made a beeline across the floor for you.
Yeah.
Those were days when the men sat on one side, the women on the other. And once the band started up, there was a clapping across the floor, wasn't there? You had to get a woman.
They were great times. They were wonderful times.
But you had happy times, hadn't you?
Wonderful times. Oh, yes.
And
here I am. When I was when I was 21. And over there. That small one down there. That's my 21.
This is what?
When I was 21.
This is you at 21, Helen. You're beautiful then and you're beautiful now, you know that, don't you? Who is the man over there with the beard?
My husband.
That's your husband?
Okay. And that's my mother.
And that's your mother?
Yes, you're wonderful.
You've all these lovely photographs.
I miss my mother, though. I miss my mother. Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful.
Brought up on buttermilk, plenty of buttermilk, potatoes and cabbage.
Well, it certainly stood to you.
Yeah.
Better than chips and greasy stuff, yes?
That's true.
So Helen, to finish off here, lots of people watching you today on this video, and lots of them have been through suffering.
Yes.
In some way through the Magdalene Institutions and the industrial schools. Have you any words of wisdom or words of advice that you might give those people?
Speak up. Speak up. Show what you've been through to this government and the church. I detest the church, but I love my God. But I got no time for those nuns or the priests, old priests.
And you're advising them to speak up, not like you who's suffered this in silence for 80 years. You've suffered this.
Yes, 80 years.
You told nobody? You'd nobody to confirm?
No, I never even told my husband. He knew about the son, my son, but he never knew about the abuse that I had. Or that I did.
You never knew about the farmer raping you? You never knew about that?
No,
And you kept that all
no.
to yourself?
I told him he was killed in a car crash. My boyfriend was killed in a car crash. That's what I told him. It was a shame, honestly, I was, in that time, back in the 50s.
You couldn't talk about the shame and stigma.
No,
Society again, society as
I
well.
couldn't talk to him and tell him, oh well. Well, he knew about the baby I had a son.
But you told him that was your boyfriend's baby who was killed
Yeah.
in the car crash.
Yeah. Yes.
Helen, your story in many ways is so horrific. But can I just say that you've been so brave
Thank you.
in the interviews you've done lately?
Thank you.
Because people watching you and hearing you who've been in the same position as you have been, keeping this silent for so many years, they now get strength from you coming out.
Yes.
You're passing on your strength to them.
Yes.
And they will say, well, if Helen can do it, I can do it.
Yes.
And the more people come forward with their stories,
Yes.
the better it is for all of humanity.
Quite right.
But you have been very, very brave. And in telling your story too, Helen, it helps you to cope with it,
Yes.
doesn't it?
Yes.
Because you have kept this inside all this
80 years.
80 years. You are an amazing woman,
Thank you very much.
a beautiful, beautiful soul.
Thank you.
And myself and my team here
Oh, that
is
was.
with me.
Thank you very much.
We wish you many, many years still of good health
Thank you.
and happiness.
Keep in touch. Yeah.
Of course we will. And I hope your redress payments come through very quickly. And it will give you a few little pleasures in life.
I hope so.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Oh, you're a wonderful crowd. Thank you.
Thank you all for listening.
Wonderful.
And until we meet again, whatever the circumstances may be, it's long goodbye.